Have you ever noticed the major role played in your life by failure? Have you ever noticed how much your thinking and your emotionalizing is dominated by thoughts, feelings that you have failed at something? Just think along with me now as we discuss this. What an overwhelming role, what a flood in your mind and feelings the idea of failure plays. Very little of it, I might tell you, very little of it is up the surface of your mind where you can see it. Most of your feelings and thoughts of being defeated, of having let yourself down, other people down, are buried very deeply down inside of you where you don't see them, but which haunt you all the time, don't they? Now, I want you to look at this idea of how much, how often, how dreadfully you simply feel that you have failed at something. Let's make a little list. You have failed where? Financially? After all that college and all that special study and all that training and dedication, you still haven't made it financially. And of course, you're comparing yourself with other people who have more money than you, and you call yourself a failure financially. Or you failed in a human relationship. What was it? A marriage, another kind of relationship down at work. Have you noticed how often you feel that you've failed to get along with people? And you have asked yourself how many times? 10,000 times. How come I just don't get along? We meet and we have a good time for a while, and then we quarrel, and then we part company. So you say to yourself, and you're giving yourself a label all the time of being someone who's failed in social relations, marriage, friendship, or whatever. Now here's the reason why you do it. You want to be a success. Well, don't you? Your idea of success, that is, isn't your idea of success is to make twice as much money as you now do? Isn't your idea of success to have people come to you and want you and desire your company? Now you go to them, don't you? Of course you do. You spend your whole day going to other people and you don't even see it. Hoping that you'll be accepted, that they'll like you, that they'll say something nice. Or you'll even settle in your desperation to be accepted. You'll even settle for somewhere less neutral. If they don't criticize you, you say, well, that's better than nothing. You'd rather have the praise and the flattery. What a dreadful struggle. So you think of the word success, which automatically includes the word failure, and the thinking about failure also includes success. Oh, what a trap. Now, you'll have to agree that what I've described so far has been the story of your life, of your wretched life. Not knowing who you are, wanting desperately to be able to give yourself a sense of solidity, of something to stand on that's solid, that no one can take away and nothing can take away. Wanting an identity. You say, I'm going out there and I'm going to be a success in something. Maybe it's just as a parent, and then you say, I'm going to be a good parent. I'm going to take care of my children right, and then the children don't turn out right. And there you are again, a failure. Now you listen to what I'm going to tell you next, and you listen carefully. Your wishes and your attempts to be a success is the only thing that makes you a failure. Well, if you eliminate one, don't you eliminate the other? Ah, but you don't want to do that because you think, you believe that if you don't strive after success as you now identify success, you think that something horrible will happen to you. You'll then have to say, oh, I'm even a failure in that I haven't any ambitions to go somewhere and to do something and to be someone, to get something. Would you like to make an experiment? I will give it to you, and let's see if you take it out of here after listening to the details. Let's see if you'll take this experiment out with you over the days and weeks and months, not 5 minutes, to see what happens to you as a result of it. Here's what to do. You go out to the world immediately, and regardless of what happens to you or of what doesn't happen to you, you will in no way ever again use the two opposite words, failure and success. Never again will you apply those words to anything that happens to you. Now, careful, you're going to run into a lot of opposition inwardly. As a matter of fact, when I just said what I said, whether you're aware of it or not, unseen parts in you objected to it very vigorously. And I'll tell you why. Because they're afraid, the wrong parts of you are afraid they're going to lose control of your life. They've got you. Well, are you living your own life or the life of something inside of you that you don't understand? All these nagging feelings, all these impulses and these moods. You're not living your own life. Listen, I think we better slow down and get that settled first of all. Let's go over it again. From now on, regardless of what happens to you or what doesn't happen to you, you're never going to put the label, the word, the opinion of either failure or success on it. Now, for you to do this, to start withdrawing your consent to the automatic saying of these double words, for you to do that, you first have to know that you're doing it. And you're so sound asleep you can't even see that. It's so unconscious, so deep down there. But this exercise will begin to bring it up, and you'll begin to see all sorts of things that you never dreamed were going through your mind and going through your feelings. You wouldn't dream what's going on. We're trying to bring it up from a dream up to where you can see it clearly. And when you see it, you begin to understand why everything you do to take away the pain doesn't work. You begin to see that you have been living only from the opposing labels of success and failure. You want to be a success and you want to avoid failure, and you've never succeeded. Isn't that strange in itself, that with all your efforts and all your education and all your insistence that you're right, that you've never succeeded in convincing yourself that you're a success, and you never will convince yourself? And I'll tell you why. Your idea of success is an idea of success. And you are not that idea. That idea has no reality whatever. It's simply a passing thing going through your mind, which you latch onto in order to give yourself a sense of direction. Sense of direction. Ever seen, probably in a movie more than anywhere else, ever seen a ship's compass or something affected in a magnet or something, and it went back and forth this way, that way, this way, that way, so the captain didn't know what direction to put the boat toward? You ever notice that? Have you ever noticed that that is your mind? That you operate yourself from this compass that 1 minute goes this way, and then the opposite, then halfway between. How, please? How can you continue to live 1 more minute having the delusion that you have a direction in life? You think that you're going in a certain direction to improve yourself. Nothing changes. See, you have certain ideas that if your mind can just repeat often enough and loud enough the idea of success, that you'll somehow achieve it. Now, listen to the question. Watch what happens to you when I ask you this question. What's success? What is success? What is achievement? You say, I'm going to go over the top. I'm going to get something, and everyone will love me and admire me. You say, I'm going to be successful. What on earth are you talking about? You've got a word, and you believe in the word, and you have no idea what it means. Wouldn't you say it would be a sign of intelligence? Look at what you're talking about and ask yourself what you're talking about. Here's what is happening. Being lost, changing directions 12 times a day, being influenced by outer events. You have tricked yourself into saying something as follows. You've tricked yourself into saying, if I could just keep my mind on a certain idea that I'm going to build this business up and become the president of it, or if I can just get enough people to follow me or to like me or whatever, if I can just do this, my aching pain will go away. This is what I tell you, if you don't know it, this is what you're saying. If I can just persist in this thought long enough that if I do certain things and achieve certain things, I won't feel empty. I won't be afraid anymore. Now let me tell you something. See, you don't understand anything at all. We have to go back to elementary things. Haven't you noticed that every time you get what you want, it does nothing for you? Haven't you noticed, gentlemen, when you got that woman for a week or for 5 years or whatever, it did not change the kind of a man you were. It didn't change your basic nature. You didn't think different. You didn't talk different. You didn't feel uplifted in any way at all. You got what you want. You ladies, what did you want? You wanted that man, huh? You wanted that home. Or what did you want? That career. You wanted that car, whatever you wanted. Please, haven't you noticed that when you get it, you're exactly the same kind of a human being, as irritable as you always were, as tense as you always were? Can't you see that nothing changed? These higher explanations that you're getting will do all the work for you if you will let them. They will let it. If you let it, it'll come into you and work in a way which you can't understand now. Welcome it, and it will go away, and you'll be a new kind of a man or a woman.